Welcome back to another episode of Carry On. In this episode, we're diving into the colorful world of Louisiana's Bayou Country.
From street murals that tell stories of our past, to a mystical sculpture garden, and a festival that paints the city. Today, we're discovering how art shapes and celebrates the community of Houma.
I don't know if you guys remember back in episode 1, we had that awesome crawfish eating contest. That tower won. We had so much fun, we decided to bring that competitive flair back for this episode, and Tara's gonna tell you what we're doing.
Yeah, so we are partaking in the viral TikTok challenge where we paint our partner. And you know, Nicole is my partner in crime, so Nicole, I hope you're ready for this because I am very proud of this. Final touches, done. You ready?
Mine is abstract, just remember that. Okay. It looks just like you.
What do you think?
I love it.
It's abstract. You gotta look at it from different perspectives and distances.
No, I mean, my neck's a little gray. It's okay, I have eyes like Coraline, but it's pretty spot on.
Please don't get rid of me as your partner in crime.
No, Nicole, this is going up in my office. It's your turn, are you ready?
No. Here we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Man, we gotta do some athletic challenges or something next because she is up 2 and I'm 0. All right, guys, we had a blast recreating these portraits of each other. Please tell us what you think in the comment section.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so every year, thousands of people are drawn to the very spot where we're standing. Considered one of the top 12 examples of folk art in the world, the Chauvin Sculpture Garden is not just an art display, it's a journey into the mind of artist Kenny Hill. So today we're joined by Dr. Gary LaFleur with Nicholls State University, who oversees the garden to talk more about it. Dr. Gary, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
So the story of Kenny Hill is such an intriguing one, but not everybody knows it. So can you share a little bit more about his story and how all of this came to be?
Sure. Kenny Hill was a bricklayer. So it makes sense that he really knew his way around mortar and bricks. And he was living in Chauvin in the 80s. And it was at that time that he was going back and forth between Branson, Missouri and here, because there was a lot of construction going on in Branson. And he would get here, he would be kind of in time off, and he started building sculptures on this land that he was only renting. And he didn't exactly have permission to do it, but it was just flowing out of him. He started making sculptures little by little. One of the first sculptures is this white knight that's right behind us. That was one of the first ones. We have images of it where there's nothing else in the garden except the white knight. And you can kind of tell that it was one of his first sculptures because it's a little less specialized than some of the other sculptures. For about 15 years, Kenny then had created this environment with about 100 sculptures. And he didn't explain it to a lot of people. Most of the community were kind of scratching their head about it. Kenny expressed himself through his art rather than talking about it. Mm-hmm. And sadly, in 2000, Kenny gave up on it. He abandoned it. He walked away. You know, he didn't explain why he was walking away to people either. And so we think the garden was not exactly finished. Kenny worked on it for about 15 years, walked away, and then some people in the community knew that it had to be rescued.
So is that where you guys came into play? Nicholls State kind of oversees the garden. Like, what is your role in all of this?
That's right. And a lot of that was not done by me, but my colleague, Dennis Saporsky. He was the head of the art department at Nicholls. A lot of people in the community know Dennis. And he had seen the garden, and he had been here while Kenny was here. They didn't have too much of a conversation, but he had met Kenny. And when Kenny left, Dennis knew there was a possibility that maybe the art would be sold piece by piece, or the whole garden would kind of be broken up. And that seemed like a terrible thing. So Dennis called a special group of people in Wisconsin, Kohler Foundation. Now Kohler, that's the same company that makes sinks and bathtubs, Kohler.
Wow.
And they are known for rescuing folk art sites, mostly in Wisconsin. But at that time, they flew down, and they said, yeah, this project is important enough for us to help out.
This is one of the top places people want to come visit when they come to Louisiana's Bayou Country. Why do you think the art here captivates so many?
It doesn't do it justice to try to explain the beauty of the Chauvin Sculpture Garden. It's one of those places where you just say, well, you have to see it. I mean, people can find pictures of it online, and whenever they get here, they always say, this is not what I expected.
That's
right?
for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to find places in this world that you don't expect. It's like a big surprise.
I love that.
Most people are continuing on. There's many things to do in Houma and Cocodrie, and this is just something that was often off of their radar. And so a lot of people love it because it's so surprising.
Unexpected.
Unexpected
beauty.
That's right.
Especially at golden hour.
I agree. You get certain shadows. The light goes through some of the pieces of glass in a certain way, and yeah, it's pretty incredible, really, no matter what the weather is. Because when it's rainy, it's also kind of beautiful too.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about it.
Oh, yeah. It can be beautiful in any kind of weather.
So a lot of these sculptures are very biblical themed. Some of them are a little sad, a little depressing, just because it was based on Kenny's life. Right. He was known to be a recluse. Like you said, it took him 15 years. What do you think he would have to say about his life's work being such a prominent figure in the folk art world that people travel the world to come and see?
He did make a few statements to people before he left that he made this garden for the community. So we think that he wanted to share it. And he didn't necessarily want to explain what different parts of the garden meant, but I think he liked the idea of people taking their own message away from it.
And thank you, Dr. LaFleur, for coming to talk to us today about the beauty and the history behind the Chauvin Sculpture Garden. We'll be right back after this. Art can profoundly impact the lives here in our community, especially here in Louisiana's Bayou Country. We know that unique artistic expressions bring stories to life, foster cultural connections, and inspire change. Today, we are joined by a local artist who's doing just that. Joining us here today is Hans Geis. Hans, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So Hans, you are such a talented artist. Your murals can be seen all throughout downtown Houma. You've done an incredible job. Tell me, what do you think people who encounter your art every day, like how do you think it affects them?
I think overall people see art, and my hope is that they can feel it. It's not just a pretty picture on a wall, but people see it and can connect with it in some kind of way. I love history and I love illustrating history, so I like to bring those history books to life in a sense through my art. So when people see it, it's like, whoa, they're learning something. You know, it's to me, if some people actually learn something through art, then to me, it's really making that connection.
And I think you've done a wonderful job doing that. What inspired you to become an artist?
Well, I've been painting since as young as I can remember, since I could pick up a crayon. I've been doing it as a profession for 30 years now. But when I was young, I spent a lot of time in the swamps, hunting, fishing. And so I was inspired by a lot of things just in nature, I guess you could say, is kind of what captivated me and really my interest in art initially. But over the years, you know, it's just been different things, just observations, people, but more recently, like just history and things that I like to make a connection with my art. So.
Yeah, and we're so grateful that you do, because it's such a staple in our community, especially in our downtown area.
So art has the power to inspire public spaces like downtown Houma. You can see people taking Instagram selfies with mural art. How do you think your art has inspired the community and helped transform a community during tough times?
I think it really helps to bring people together, especially in times like following Hurricane Ida. I had painted a mural on the Lumiere restaurant, which said Home Sweet Houma. So it was just a way to really, I think, just give people a sense of hope and just revive, I guess, the spirit of the community. And I really felt I accomplished that goal through that mural, because since then I've seen a lot of people take pictures, for concerts and events, and you see it in the background real big, and I really wanted to bring some color and hope to the community. When you enter downtown Houma, it's the bicentennial mural that really, I think, just kind of shows people our how proud we are, of our heritage, and so in that sense, yeah, I think it really does, touch people, and I've had good feedback from it. So.
And does it give you pride to see younger generations come in behind you, like with local artist Cassie, just doing the same thing, putting her spin on it with her medium and allowing her art to transform the communities? Because I feel like during COVID and Ida, you two were almost like pillars of hope here in Louisiana's Bayou Country. How does it feel to see the next generation come behind you and do that?
It feels really great and rewarding, because I have to say, Cassie was an inspiration to me. I saw the work that she was doing with disabled children's homes and these rooms, and I was like, hey, I want to be a part of that. So myself and some other volunteers in the community got together and worked with Cassie on that. She was just really instrumental in touching the lives of many families and people in need, and so it was a great way to bring people together. And we still do projects together. Last year, Bayou Arts Fest, we did an interactive mural, and we'll possibly do that again this year. So it's just really fun, really cool, and I just commend any emerging artists or artists who are looking to connect. It's great to get to know other artists. I love to mentor younger artists. Anybody that wants to learn anything, just don't be afraid to ask. That's how you learn, and so it's great.
I love that.
It's amazing.
Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Well, Hans, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for this beautiful work of art that you are doing and everything else that you're doing in our community. You are truly making waves in the Houma area. So thank you so much. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Carry On. As we know, art can be created through several forms of expressions: photography, sculpture, painting, and more. We are here at the Terrebonne Fine Arts Guild with two special guests to help us discuss art and its impact on community. Here with me is Misty McElroy and Jeannie Ardwayne. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Misty, what inspired you to focus on community and art in your photography?
So for a long time, I've been attending events, and it's one of those things that I can't not take pictures of it. Like if I leave my phone or my camera at home, at least I have the phone now. Before, it was a struggle. It's like you had to have the camera, and then I was itching. I needed the camera. But to see especially on social media, when I share it, people say, oh, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know Houma had all those things. I didn't know. So it was that. It's like the conversation of they didn't know, and I'm showing them. And so that was cool to me. Like I was a portal for them to be able to find out what is happening in the community. And I also used it as therapy a little bit, because I would take my dogs on walks through the towns. And I recently have started a project where I go through the main street towns throughout Louisiana, and I take pictures. And I just bring my phone. I don't bring my camera with me most of the time. And I walk the dog. Instead of just walking the dog in the same place over and over again, I bring the dog to new places, and then I just photograph new towns. And same thing, people will say, I didn't know that this town had this or this town had this. And so it's cool to see the feedback. Or people who have moved out of town, they say, oh, I forgot about that place, especially places like Scarlet Scoop. They're like, oh, I remember that. And then they start telling their memories of that place as a child. So that was kind of cool for me.
And Jeannie, tell me how you began working with the Bayou Regional Arts Council and some of the work that you guys do here in Houma.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get this job a couple of years ago, and it's grown. And it's, listening to some of the things Missy said, so we get to see the other art directors and the other parishes and things they've had. And so that's had a huge impact on where I would see this direction, where I see the Arts Council going in direction. So most communities have a community arts center, which we are lacking. So it is a huge goal of the Bayou Regional Arts Council to try to find a location. And the reason being is because there's so many people that don't have access to art. Our mission is, increasing the accessibility to art. Yeah, it's really important to us to try to get more public works of art downtown and in our local bayous, so people are aware that not only do we have artists, but what kind of impact that makes on a community when you see that art in a community, and what that does for our well-being, what it does for our some incentive to go out and look around and take pictures with the wing murals that we've had, Mike Slade do or Cassie do, and different things, different public works of art that attracts people here, increases tourism, not only tourism, but for ourselves. You see our local people just go and take those pictures in places that they didn't know existed, but we put some art there. And so now they're the alligator in the bayou, that Hans helped us refurbish. So yeah, it's just getting people out and looking around and appreciating what we have here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Fine Art Guild and its impact in the community and how it operates?
Yeah, oh good. They've been such great partners for us. So they do, I know they have summer camps here. They did the Van Gogh in the park. And they really work with the artists to be able to put their art pieces, they do every month, they rotate their artists. They get to show all their art. They've been such a great community partner with us, huge community partner with us.
And how do y'all work with the Arts Guild?
We fund a lot of their programs through our grant process. We work together on a lot of different projects. So it's nice to have that collaboration. And when we need an artist for something, like who's the first person I call with the Fine Arts Guild? Because who can you recommend that can paint this? Or, we need art pieces in a certain place. Who can you recommend? So they're a great go-to on how to find local artists.
So before I let you guys go, one of the best festivals we have here is the Bayou Arts Fest. Could you tell us a little about what we can expect in 2024 and some of the details so that our viewers won't miss that this year?
Yeah, no, the Bayou Arts Fest is going to be fabulous this year. I'm so excited about the Bayou Arts Fest this year. Last year was hugely successful. We welcomed over 15,000 patrons. Of course, music is a given. We have great music, great food, but the art. Last year, Hans Geist did a piece that was just amazing. But we had over 60 artists out here. And that's what we want to focus on, not just our fine arts, but that everything is an art form. We really have so many avenues of art. This year, we will have a whole cultural aspect that our different cultures in the area will be out there showing not only their fine arts, but their clothing that they wear, the food that they cook, and all of that is an art form. Like, I think people think of arts and they think of just fine art painting, but there's so much more to art than that.
Like we said in the beginning, different art can be different forms of expressions. Photography, sculpture. We did the sculpture garden in Chauvin.
Right.
And so that's going to be there at the festival.
Right. And so we really strive to try to represent every art form that we can. And if there's people out there that think they have an art form that we're not representing, we would love for you to contact us. And we would love to, we have tattoo artists out there. Just anything that represents art, because everything is art. Art is life. Art is the way we survive. Like, it really is. People don't understand, but when you go to cook a jambalaya at night, that's an art that was taught to you by somebody. If you're styling your clothes, that's an art that was taught to you by somebody. If you're painting a picture, that is art. That is an expression of what what you're feeling at that moment. So art can really be encapsulated in everything. And I think it took me getting this job to learn that. So I don't think that people really understand that. But if they would, just take a look around and know that usually things that are going to make you happy come from something to do with art.
Let's say it together. Art is life.
Art is life.
All right, thank you for joining us for this episode of Carry On. Whether through the stroke of a brush, the chisel of a sculptor, or the snap of a photo, Houma reminds us that art should be celebrated in every community. Until next time, keep carrying on.